let's dive in to this Instagram feedback session. Now, Instagram is obviously still one of the most powerful platforms for artists, but in all honesty, I think most of us are winging it. And in this session, we're going to look at some real profiles live on screen and just give some constructive, practical feedback, just to help you guys kind of level up your presence. So let's begin by, let's meet the panel. Let's start with introductions. Mikey, go with you first.
Hi, I'm Mikey White. I'm the head of marketing and events at Toolroom. I work in marketing across the entire business, on the label side, the brand, our artist management company, and the academy.
Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Maya, and I am the marketing manager for the Toolroom Academy. So I oversee the social media, all the email marketing, and just future campaigns that we have coming up for our courses.
All right, you've seen me in the previous panel. My name is Gernot. I'm the founder of Voltage Circus, a music marketing agency. We do the Toolroom Academy, the Artist Development Masterclass together with Toolroom. And I work for a artist management company called Metropole Talent, where we manage artists like Penpot, Len Faki, David Löhlein, Shimza, and so on.
Hi, I'm Graham Steele from the first panel. I run a dance music magazine called Data Transmission. I also help artists with their Instagrams. I built a YouTube channel kind of helping artists understand Instagram. And I've just had a #1 best-selling book on Amazon about Instagram for artists.
Excellent stuff. All right, let's dive in. So we've had some of you guys brave enough to submit your profiles, which is ace. You know, we're here to look and give some constructive feedback. I think, first of all, just if I can find out who this is. So we've got Subvisions Music. Excellent. Nice to meet you guys. So to begin with, I think, let us get a bit of context from you as well before we dive in. Like, as artists, like, what's your sound? Where are you aiming for? What's your market? What's your style? No, mate, it's experience. That comes. That's key.
And we thought that that was sort of an area that we could go towards, because obviously Darren had that sound and he was showing me that hard house.
Brilliant.
And basically we saw that Berlin was coming out with this new sound, and we were like, okay, this is an area we can go towards. And by sort of seeing that, we were like, let's pivot and direct into that, and that's why we're here, because we want to connect with that sound, and it's here, and that's where the artists and that's where the music's coming from.
Yeah, the hard scene is massive again. You know, it's really from the old school scene, which was the best. So you talking sort of Nuclears, Tidy Tracks days?
Tidy Tracks, Tin Rib,
love that.
all that kind of
Amazing.
stuff. Yeah.
Big fan of that. All right, excellent. Let's dive in. So let's have a look at the page here. Any first thoughts, guys, just visually, like what you're seeing right at the very beginning here?
Yeah, can I start at the top?
Start at the very top.
Can I start right at the top?
Right at the top.
First thing I do is I take that logo out at the profile picture. When it goes down to 18%, you're not reading that. It's in the comments, you're just not going to see it. I'd zoom in their faces a little bit. I'd brighten them up a little bit. Because when you're in the comments and you're kind of being part of a community, you want to see you. And that logo's just going to disappear.
So more like the picture here on this one.
Yeah, just they look at them, they're bright, and that picture's not bright at all. Their thing is Vinny's got his green hair. I'd make it more brighter. The nice. Sound is brighter. It's hard house. It's, let's make that image a brighter representation of them.
Awesome. Any other thoughts from guys? From the instant sort of look here.
Only thing that I would say instantly is you can see a bit of consistency in the pink text, but I would maybe try to maintain that throughout. That's the only thing that sticks out to me instantly.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I like that. I like the brand palette. They've got, like you're saying, that pink text is cool, and they've got the green hair, and that kind of you've got a bit of a brand palette going there already. But then it's not I'd lean into that more. And your highlights, they could be part of the brand palette. The covers could be more of the brand palette. They've got something going, and it just when you get that, just really lean into it.
Seeing some consistency here straight away with track of the day as well, which obviously we were talking about the consistency with posts earlier. So that's looking pretty cool.
Let's just go back up to the top as well and look at searchability. How is bio? Are they searchable in the bio? Is there kind of hard house in there? Is there can you get booked? Can you book them from the? Yeah, you can. Like if that's their sound, hard house and techno, and like I'd get those words in there because that sort of stuff's bookable. Scroll down on that. Like, is that? Like it's long, isn't it? That's like pulling. You know, like when magicians pull the hankies out at the sleeve, and they pull it out, and a rabbit comes out the other end. Like, no one's clicking on all them.
I think where artists do this quite well is using tools like Comey.
Yeah.
So you can have you know you're all in one link, and then you click on there, and it's like this is my events, this is my mix series, this is like my playlist, something like that. I always find this is usually just a cumbersome list of like everything, isn't it?
Yeah, just
you know. And if you're like a promoter who's like discovered, you know, like maybe I've heard of these guys, I want to go and book them, I need to, you know, and they've got, you know, like 2 minutes, you know, it's like kind of like, it's your resume, isn't it, as well, you know, you have to think of it like that.
I just think, you're right, I think like, you've got to direct them, like when you're like, when you've got to, I want you to click on this, this, or this, and there is that 2 minutes, like, this is the best things I've got, and this is what I want you to click on.
I want to click on this one.
Keywords as well, like you say, like genres.
Ibiza donk.
Yeah.
Makes me just want to click on that.
What do you want to click on?
The Ibiza donk, because it just keeps bouncing at me, and I'm like, yeah, it looks cheeky. But okay, should we have a look at some of the posts as well?
But then the rest of that, then let's delete because you.
Yeah, for me, it's to be honest, do you know what it is? It's similar when someone sends me a demo, and there's like 8 tracks to listen to.
Yeah.
It's just it's information overload.
Yeah, just keep it simple.
Yeah,
For the sake of how much Comey costs per month, I would just recommend that everyone use that because it's so good, it's so tidy.
Yeah, we also use it with our artists. It's just really good.
Yeah.
Kona, is that with a K?
Comey.
Comey.
Komi.
Excellent, Comey.
Yeah.
Okay, worth looking at, guys.
Do you want to go into content? Like,
Yes.
Let's like.
So we've got some pinned ones. Should we look at some of the recent? So we've obviously got a review of Berlin here.
That one's got some action. Let's go on track of the day. Let's get in.
the day.
Right.
Hang on, let me just.
No, wait, stop.
Okay.
What are they? Someone tell me what they're saying. Right, so no one knows what you're saying because we're all watching with the sound off.
Okay, so subtitles.
Valid point. If you're on the London Underground and you're, I personally am not one of those people that sits there on the London Underground with my volume on full, you know, travelling with my phone. So, you know, captions that's just the standard these days, isn't it? Really best practice.
But also that you've revealed the reveal, like the artwork's on there at the start. That you've kind of given away the reveal straight away. Like the hook could be on screen words, and then you go into the reveal with the track. Like those words can come off, and then the track artwork comes up because then you're telling them about the track.
Okay, should we go in and listen to it?
Yeah, go for it.
Let's do it.
25 by them, and they are absolute legends. The hard house scene. Check it out.
I've swiped by now.
Today's track of the day is Club Caviar, Get Out. A wicked rework from 1999, brought up to date to 2025 by them, and they are absolute legends, the hard house scene. Check it out.
Do you think the logo needs to be on here on everything as well? Or
No,
is
just don't. Yeah, I wouldn't need it.
I would say that the content is good. Like, sorry, excuse me. You're obviously reaching the audience that you want to reach. You're sharing that you have musical knowledge. I think, like Graham said, it's just that captions is a tiny little tweak that you can do. It does it for you. That just ups it that level up just a tiny bit more. And obviously, back to sort of what Miles was saying on the first panel, it's just keeping that attention. So I would maybe just cut the music ever so slightly just to be a slightly shorter video. But other than that, like, it is good content and it's valuable and you're giving to people, which they're always going to be receptive to. So.
Yeah, the information's really good. And I just think like I would have swiped. I kind of watch videos and go, where would I swipe? Like you're saying, like the music's too long. I would have swiped. I got the vibe. I got the kind of feel of it. I would like cut it. One thing you can do, which is like if you go and download the new Instagram Edits app, if you download that app, it's brand new, but in that app you get the stats for each reel. So if you go and look at the stats for each reel, it gives you the retention graph of where people watched to and how long they watched. I was just looking at this with somebody else, and their piece of content, again, it's a format that what we know works, but we could see that they dropped off straight away. So his 1% for improving that content is what happens in those 1-2 seconds, because he's losing he's not cooking the right people, and therefore he's not keeping the right people with the content that is good. So he needs to, his 1% of improving that content is what happens in those 2 seconds. And if you look at, I bet if you looked at this video, you'd see, you kind of retain them a bit, but then it drops off when it's too long. And then you can see that from that retention graph.
Okay, some more finer detail here, which is good to know. All right, let's have a look. So,
Can I say something?
yeah.
So I think it's very colorful. I like the profile on the first side. Question to you. I guess you're aiming at playing gigs, becoming real DJs, or is your project more like you want to be music influencers and like?
Basically, yeah, we want to try and get as many gigs as possible, and I think this is just sort of like part of the mold that we've adopted with social media, trying to push ourselves out there, get as many eyeballs on them as possible. But yeah, the sort of end goal is labels.
Because when I look at the profile, I know, and for newcomer artists, it's always very difficult to get gigs and to actually get to a point where you have club footage. But for you, I don't think I see any footage of you playing. So if I look at the profile, to me, you look like, music enthusiasts. You like hardcore ravers that really like the scene, that want to push out content, that want to be like kind of music influencers. But the profile doesn't look like you're an artist.
It's the first one with some decks here, and I've scrolled quite far down, isn't it?
Yeah, I think you're right. Like the strategy is good, but you're right that you're not being a DJ on there. There's no, like if a promoter went on there, they'd go, do they DJ? And then if they're doing that, they've already gone.
I think it's like evident that you've got like a really clear idea as to your brand and how that sits within your genre of music as well, because it's objectively fun. You know, like the coloration, like the style, the approach. It's very human as well. You're totally not shy about like talking to camera. That's very algorithm friendly. Yeah. But yeah, as DJs, this is not giving a lot away. But without being too critical, I do think like listening to the music, I think you've really clearly you latched onto that. We talk about kind of like tone of voice within genre on the program, and I think you've totally got that nailed.
There's also a great book post there if you scroll back down where they're showing a great book.
Are you going for a shameless plug somewhere, aren't you?
Have you just released a new book, Graham?
I have, right?
I wasn't sure if you mentioned that yet.
No, okay.
Sponsorship.
Oh.
Thanks, lads.
Oh, cool, man. I think you guys, it's really instantly bright, smiley, fun. I really, really like that. I mean, just from talking to you as well, I think you could, I know you're doing the track of the day, but I think you should be leaning in, because you spoke about it straight away. I'd lean in on your knowledge and history of the sort of hard house scene as well, because I think young and old find that fascinating. And actually, a lot of the promoters and a lot of people still working in the harder scene are still from that original day. A lot of the artists, the engineers, the promoters, the labels still are. And so for you sharing that and talking about legends like Tony DeVee, those old labels, we'll drag that in as well. Yeah. I think you're doing such a great job here of the consistent stuff and the fresh posts. I think you can just mix it up, get more DJ stuff, some studio stuff in there as well.
The other 1% I'd probably look at for this is like how they stand on screen. I'd just go and watch a load of content that gets loads of views, and just where they are positioned on screen. Like, could they stand a little bit back from the camera so there's a bit more headroom and a bit more space to put captions on, and then it's not like the face right in there. Like those little simple 1%. So you're a little bit further back, so you've got a bit more room, and then you can put the track of the day a little bit in a different position. Like it's there at the top. Is it better in the middle? Is that catch the eye more? Those little things but then
spatial awareness in graphic design is a huge thing, really.
Yeah,
it
is. Yeah, but go and look at like everyone that makes content in this space in different genres and see where they're stood to see how that works better.
And you, more often than not, it will be consistent. Entirely across, the entire channel as well.
Awesome stuff. Thanks, guys, so much for kind of bearing your souls with us. Really solid and really nice to see. I'm going to be checking out more of that. I'd love a bit of hard house, so it's all good.
That's right up your street, isn't it?
Give a round of applause, please. All right, let's go on to another one. So, Alith, are you here? Right at the front. Awesome. Okay, right. Same sort of question to you, I suppose, to begin with. Like, can you just give us a brief sort of summary, like positioning, like musical?
So like mostly stuck like right around like the producer area, mostly focusing on the UK influence music, such as like garage, dance music there, and also like lo-fi house. And that's like also like the thing that I'm actually following and like doing, producing, but also like DJing. And that's like how I actually grown up to, because like, especially like when I was a kid, I was always like checking out Goldie's sessions, and I was hugely inspired by that, but also like Burial and everything in between. So yeah, that's actually how I am like trying to like come up with, especially like in Germany, when like, let's say UK music is not that, let's say, highly established. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thank you, man.
I get that from his profile picture as well. Like, it's quite a cool image. I get that vibe, just straight off the top.
Appreciate you.
That's more focused. Look, 1, 2, 3. I'm going to go there, or there. Love that.
Yeah. Spotify, website, SoundCloud, broadcast channel.
Has he repeated that across highlights? Like, I use highlights like the same thing. Like, yeah, he has. Look, 1, 2, 3. They're nice. That's cool. Like, bio looks cool. Highlights are cool.
Anything jumping out to you on some of this sort of initial first content in terms of stylization, the photos, the images used, text?
I think it looks really nice. Like at a first glance, you can see that you've definitely got more so towards the top. There was a bit more of a range of content there. So I guess maybe that's something that you knew you needed to work on, and you've now improved on that. So yeah, it looks really nice. I would say like, again, the text is all placed really nicely. Everything's clear. You sort of know what you're tapping into with each post. That's my first thoughts. So it looks really nice.
I feel like, so with the previous profile, to me it was straight away really clear what the brand is all about. It's like colorful, you know, like all these like heavy colors. Yeah. For your profile, I don't really get like a strong brand yet, and I feel like branding these days is super, super important, especially looking at, you know, the whole like hard techno where all the big artists have a super, super strong brand. Yeah. And I think you need to work a bit more on your brand and your visual identity, what it looks like, and then kind of translate this into the content, because it looks a little bit average just in the first sight. So I guess the videos are really cool, like the way how you do them, and I think you should definitely keep doing this, but think a bit more with like the visual identity in mind when you make these videos.
Can we scroll up to the pin? I saw something on the pin, but like, what's that work with me? I think this could be a wasted pin post. Yeah, it is. Like, it is a bit of a waste. That, like, go on, click through. Okay. What does that say? That's a lot.
A lot of text, I know.
Click again. Sorry.
So this is also kind of pushing other things that you do in terms of...
But like more in a, let's say, right now, more subtle way, not really like pushing it way too forward, because like I mostly see myself more as a producer than like a, let's say, marketeer in that case.
Do you think that's risky, pushing too sort of objectives from one profile?
Yeah, I got that.
Totally, I would separate that, because you want to do one thing 100% and not like 7 things.
Got it.
I was gonna say as well. So your favourite styles of music are more like kind of like garage, UK garage, that kind of thing. Yeah. And you're based in Berlin.
No, I'm actually based from Hamburg. I actually come up here for the session here. That's why.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool. So you're an ambassador of like UK styles and flavours of electronic music. You reference like Burial and Goldie and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Is that something, when I look at that central post at the top of the photograph, the monochrome, that kind of feels more in line with the styles of music that you love and that you want to represent. Yeah. I don't know if that's something that you use as a kind of a USP, that you are based in Hamburg and you're somebody who's really trying to push like UK music. Yeah. Like within the market of Hamburg. I know you've got like Ubel and Gefährlich is the big club.
Yeah, that's the one
in Hamburg. Is there, what sort of, do you get many nights that play that sort of music that you love there?
Well, very few, to be honest, because like mostly like when people are like booked there, it's just like a concert, not really like DJ gigs that they're like doing. But it's getting more traction, and like people from, let's say, Berlin, like different, for example, was like booked there, but also like like huge inspiration for me. Fred again was also like booked there, but mostly as a concert, not really as a DJ gig. They're just like trying to like push it forward. And I'm like also like part of a collective which we're like trying to push there as well, because there's some few DJ gigs there that are like pushing garage, for example.
So you have your own sort of like brand, like parties that you throw as well.
Yeah.
And that's again around the kind of like garage and those sort of styles of music.
Yeah.
It would be good to kind of see
More
like
of that.
just really obvious instances of that, like
Yeah.
top down on the feed as well. Because I think you've got like a really interesting perspective on like your lens on electronic music and
Yeah.
trying to push like UK garage in
Yeah.
Germany. You know, there's plays you could play on that.
Yeah.
You know, like, what's your brand called as well?
Well, like the collective itself is called UKG Hamburg. It's not really like original, but I mean like it does its job, and you are like going to be like noticed that much. But I mean, it's a thing that we're like right now trying to establish, and it takes a while. But I mean, like we're getting there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what's your objective? Is it to be like an artist like performing every weekend or like making your own music?
It would be like, I mean, like it's a mix of three things. For example, like providing a platform for people, because like there's a small scene there, and we'd like to be like, let's say, representative for them, and like giving them the opportunity to play some music, but also like establish ourselves as a collective, gain more recognition, more parties, and so on and so on.
So from a manager standpoint, it's very nice to see that artists are doing several things, like a label, like their own party. Like the music marketing stuff that you had there, that's something different. But
Yeah.
and it's me as looking at your profile through the lens of a manager. I want to see that you're capable of promoting parties, that you have your own label maybe, that you do constant releases, you do all the other social media stuff.
Yeah.
So I would make sure that you also showcased all of that.
Yeah. One thing I like to point out as well, like branding you mentioned before, and in the past I did that, a couple of things, but I just like noticed that like my average reach whenever like posting something, it just got even worse. So like I stopped like doing like adding, let's say, I don't know, a visual identity in terms of like an icon or something like that. And
I don't mean putting your logo, it's more like the look and feel of the brand, like going back to their profile,
These sort of
straight away you
style
knew
pictures.
what it's like all about.
All right, got it. Yeah. I get that. Probably try to figure out that as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I get that. I get when you drop, you do something new and you drop. And I did that at the beginning of the year. I started something new, and instantly saw a drop on reach. But I knew that style worked, or what I was doing worked, and I was doing it wrong. And I just needed to make tons more of that, because I knew it was right. I knew it worked. The piece of content I was trying to do, where it basically loops. And it kind of tells more information, but it loops, and it's a bit longer, but it gives more depth. And the views were not as good, the retention was not as good, and I was like, but I know this style works because I've seen it working, so I'm doing it wrong, and I just need to do tons of it, and just do more of it, and try and work it out, and more referencing again.
True.
Okay, good stuff. I think it's a really solid start. You know, take away from that, just push a bit more of that branding towards that scene.
Yeah.
'Cause some of these shots and stuff are really cool. They're
Yeah, I also like the monochrome thing.
Yeah, these sorts of shots are really nice.
The one that looks interesting
these
there.
ones,
With the
Can you show the live video? That's right there.
that one there.
This one here?
Yeah, let's see that one.
No, that's just like a thumbnail which I was like promoting song.
Because if you play live, you would do live content. You like just jamming. This is stuff that we want to see. You know that.
See, I hate the thumbnails that aren't representative of what's there. Like I've swiped already. Like which means the retention's going to dip.
Yeah.
Like if that thumbnail's you playing live and I'm not getting you playing live.
Yeah.
I'm instantly annoyed by it.
All right.
And therefore
it's honest.
Yeah, it's true. I mean,
It's
like
honest,
I like that.
yeah.
And then I'm out. Like I'm out, and I'm probably out for a while. You know.
You know, I get that, but I mean also like what I'm like noticing as well is like mostly that people are not really keen on like checking out your profile. They're like mostly checking your stuff through the feed, and then like your content is automatically played.
Yeah.
But I mean, like I get the totally +1 on that. If you go on the profile and then check it out, totally get that.
Okay, cool, man. Thanks so much for sharing that with us.
Appreciate you.
Yeah,
Honestly,
I got
nice stuff. We'll keep it moving into the next one here. So the next one I have got is it Min Daniel? Awesome, nice one, man. So same thing again, I suppose. Give us a little kind of introduction, a little brief description of like what you're about musically, the scene you're into.
Hello.
Okay, hi guys. So my Vietnamese name is Min. My English name is Daniel, so that's why my stage name is Min Daniel. I just moved to Berlin like a year ago, and I started with DJ first for like 3 years back in Vietnam. And yeah, like I moved to Berlin to have more challenges, also focusing on more productions. And yeah, so apart from that, I also do a YouTube channel as well. So I'm also like a content creator, a vlogger, a videographer, and doing things with marketing and event management as well. So how can I say? My YouTube channel is, my purpose is to show the dance music around the world back to the Vietnamese community, because I'm going to speak Vietnamese back in the YouTube channel as well. So yeah.
This looks sick.
It looks so professional. It looks very, very slick. You know, you've got an obvious style, an obvious brand.
You can see that you're a videographer and
yeah.
Thank you.
It looks sick. Like,
yeah, if you guys can
what
check,
style of music is it?
I'm everything between house and techno. Mostly, I like to play indie dance. I also have an alternative alias doing like industrial techno, but yeah, I'm more focusing on a slower pace at the moment.
So that's quite interesting for me, just in that sentence before I've even looked at that, because that's a bit of everything.
Yeah.
It's not honing in, you know, when you say everything from house to techno, there's nothing wrong with that, but it is just getting that, like, exactly what you stand for. Because sometimes, it's strange to say this, but I mean, on the panel this morning, like Miles was saying about raw content and stuff, sometimes when it's this polished and this professional, it can almost be going past the simple message of exactly what you stand for, if that makes sense as well.
Can we have a look at some videos, maybe?
Yeah, I was just going to say,
some
can you just
DJ
click,
performances.
can you click that Reels tab just to see like what views they're getting per video before we look at?
This was back in Vietnam as well.
I want to take my clothes off.
It's going off. Where's this club?
It was back in Hanoi, and I hosted several nights over there. It was very nice. I also run my own. It's called My The House. It's the event series that
Super cool.
Yeah,
man.
I made it back in Vietnam as well.
Very, very cool.
Really cool. I was still in on that video as well. Like watching it, you were, even though the pan. Normally when the pan, I'm out, but I was still watching it. I wanted to see what happened. Like
Everything for me, the timing of the music, it was like I knew it was building. It was building. I was waiting for the drop.
The resolve was worth it, wasn't it? There was a payoff there. Yeah, it was funny.
The only like, how many views did that get? Like, is there a way to 10x the views from just adding some words like hooks on screen? Like, because again, like people aren't.
Yeah, like nights are different back in Hanoi. You know,
Yeah.
you're like, I don't know, drawing some sort of comparison to like where you are now, and
I mean, like,
yeah.
kind of like my aesthetic in terms of editing and production is I don't like to put any words up on it. So you can see all from my Instagram feed. I don't like to put any words out.
Totally. It's very captivating when you look at it as a page visually, because everything is just so slick looking.
I'm a bit OCD, so that's why.
I wonder if you don't pick the TikTok font, but maybe if you pick like a really cool font that matches with your brand.
I tried once with the TikTok, but I don't know. I just like the aesthetic of Instagram.
I'm thinking the same. Like just really little, just a really nice tight little font that just sits on top, that just comes for a second and goes, and just like, because again, like if you're listening with the sound off, the words on screen will make you want to watch that for that payoff.
So it's tricky, isn't it? Because this is like artistic identity, like what you really believe in, what you want to portray. And then there's also thinking about algorithms and how it works and getting people's attention. I find that a really interesting thing to balance.
So I think if you're very strong about your brand, then you do your way.
Yeah.
Like there's the way of like speaking the language of the algorithm, but in the end, your artistic vision, I feel like, is more important, because you may get a little less views, but in the end, what the promoters want is like a very cool brand, like a really cool artist. And if you say, look, it's not working for me, then that's not working for you.
Sorry, I'm super shaky right now.
I really respect that.
First time, like, showing
No, I
this
really respect that.
to
You know,
everyone.
you're being confident in what you're saying there about your brand and what you feel as an artist, and that's important, you know, as well as, you know, getting feedback here, but it's got to come back to that.
But yeah, just if you look at the views, like the views compared ratio to followers, he's already getting more and more more views than he is followers. So essentially, you're doing what you need to do. It's just like, it's working what you're doing. So just keep doing it and doing it and doing it and more of it, because essentially what you're doing is working.
That's a really cool font.
Yeah, it's lush,
I
isn't
like
it?
that blocky font. That suits you. That's quite cool. Yeah.
I was going to say, just to throw a spanner in the works, could you experiment with captions? Like we say, like we're suggesting, find a cool font. Like, for example, because I like that Mind the House there. It looks more like a poster. And it's obvious that you take a lot of pride in like your brand, your presentation, the variety, the color. Like you've obviously got a clearly very creative eye. Could you try using captions, but the thumbnail is just so you're still not compromising on your feed, but then you're playing with captions as well. Just like to speak on the behalf of the full marketing team at the label, Becca and Charlie back there. If they were here, they'd be saying the exact same thing as well. Could you be using the tools that are given to you in app as well? I think Graham, you could probably shed some insight on this as well. Should everyone be using all of the tools that are available to them, because that's what the apps want, right? They want you to use the tools that they're giving you to optimize the content.
The other one thought is like, do the same piece of content twice. Put it out on put it out as you normally put it out. But in Instagram now, there's a new feature called trial reels. So just literally put it with the captions on trial reels and see what the difference is, like, because that only goes to non-followers. So it literally goes to, it's not going to affect your feed, it's not going to affect how you look, but you can literally test with captions, with words on screen, without words on screen, in 2 different places at the same time, and see what results work. And if your retention is higher on your, and it still looks and feels like you, like they're saying, maybe the words come in after a second, and it just kind of keeps that rehooks, like it's that little rehook, because it is quite a long piece of content, and it comes in and just rehooks them with words on screen. But try them on trial rolls and just test 2 pieces of content against each other and see which one gets better results.
Okay. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Awesome, man. And it's really slick looking page.
Lovely.
It's really nice, and I really respect that.
I also like the little color highlight, like the little highlight colors. They're sick. Like yeah.
I love the brand overall because it's very edgy, and I feel like that's going with the time at the moment. And
I'm aiming for the timeless and sustainable, aesthetic size.
And you can have like every 6 or 9 posts, you could have like a thumbnail that's designed, and and the text is laid out in a very specific, like the composition of it and spatial awareness of it is very specific.
Like this one here.
Do you remember when Instagram do the square square post instead of like right now it's like a vertical one?
Yeah.
I used to design like a grid of 3, so like it's like a big giant pictures and then split it into like a 3-1. So it's even more aesthetic, but now they're changing, so I have to change again too.
but it looks fantastic.
Yeah. Thank you.
I think it looks better now. It looks cool.
Thank you for submitting, man. It's really cool.
Thank you, guys.
Really appreciate that. All right, let's move to the next one. Nasli, DJ Funshine, just there.
Hi.
Hello.
So I'm a full-time freelance event DJ, not anymore playing in clubs too much. My clients are between 35 and 60 years old. So what else can I say?
What music style you play?
Everything.
Everything.
As an event DJ.
But besides electronic music also, or just?
Sure.
Everything. Okay, cool.
I'm doing this for 15 years. So I was in the past club resident and something like this, but for the last years I directed myself mostly to events, private, corporate, fashion events.
And what's your goal with the Instagram page?
I'm not so happy with it, first of all. It's not so aesthetic.
No, but I mean, do you want to reach more the B2B audience, like your potential clients, or like are you aiming at building up a fan base that are just
100% to my B2B clients, and that's why I have some video ideas, more explaining what I am doing because this is missing, and I have some other ideas because I know a lot about music, so a little bit making some small videos about music stories, song stories, and things like this.
Oh, why are they yellow as well?
That's a good point.
Interesting, because this page, your goal is a lot different from probably most of the guys in here.
I'm very out of the box here.
Yeah, because it's like your Instagram is more like kind of like your website where you showcase your services.
Yes.
Yeah.
And is that where you're aiming to stay as well? Or you wanting to change direction as a DJ at all? Or is it maintaining what you what you do in terms of corporate events and these types of events. This is what you want to carry on doing. You're not looking to change direction or anything like that?
I'm just anyway playing every kind of genre, and I'm enjoying it, so
excellent.
That's okay.
Yeah,
I mean,
100%.
I like to reach much more people because I like to make everybody have fun, which they are not anymore going to clubs, and that's my goal, to reach much more people and make much more people have fun, dance like kids again.
I think being an open format DJ like that is actually incredibly challenging. Being able to, like you say, play any genre of music, you know, there's a real art to that, isn't there? And if you're pitching yourself as a DJ who's able to, you know, seamlessly say, right, one week I'm doing like R&B or disco or hip hop.
Even every night.
Like
Sometimes I have 5 gigs in 5 days, and every day different audience, different genre. But I like it. I was always like this.
So you must have such an incredible knowledge of music to be able to do that, right?
I always was a lot of weird music listening, all genres, and was never one direction. That's why I also could not continue in electronic music.
Mm. But there's you know, if we were like managing your page, we would say like, what are your content pillars? And it would all be, you know, you're a curator. You know, you're playing so much different music all the time. There could be so many cool little videos you could do about, you know, like going through some records. This is like my 5 like favorite, you know, disco records, you know, like R&B records, just like talking about music. Because when someone, you know, like a B2B client that might come to your profile is, I've heard of you, I've heard you're good. It's obvious, you know, from looking at your profile that that's what you're pitching, but being able to kind of exploit that knowledge of music and love and passion for music, yeah. I can't quite see that yet. And I think you're missing a trick there. Yeah,
100%. I'm on it. I have some ideas, and
it's like the sort of really legendary long radio hosts that really specialise, you know.
I check out an artist called Carly Fox.
Yes, I was going to say that.
Because her content is, she plays across genres, but also she's in house music, but also she does that content, which it looks super amazing. It's really, really, really well polished, and she just does it really, really well. And she'll talk about, you know, she'll go and buy 5 records from a charity shop and go, well, let's listen to these, and it's just really lovely content.
And there's another artist I've been following recently called Gia Fu. And she's, so it's GIAFU. And she's predominantly a salsa DJ. I think she's based out of New York. But she's got such a massive record collection, and she's just always going to record stores and making short videos, like in her room at home, which is like the same room essentially. And her just like going through these like really old, like battered salsa records that she's picked up at like loads of different thrift stores in New York. She's always DJing a lot of salsa things. It's very, very focused on one genre, and her brand is very clear and significant about that. But the way that she does that, in like just talking about like the sheer love for salsa, is she's executed that in a really compelling way. So I think that would be a really good reference point. And she's brilliant, isn't she?
Yes, her content's really good. One thing I was thinking, like, if it is a B2B thing, then you're making better video, then start repurposing that for LinkedIn, because then you'll find more clients from that side as well.
Yeah, it's a great show. Yeah.
Any other thoughts, guys, on what you're seeing here?
I feel like it looks like you're playing some fashion events and like store DJs. I feel like especially these clients, of course they book the DJ and the music, but you're also part of the whole like fashion concept. And I feel some of your content, like the post that's on the right now, that's like a very nice fashion-y kind of post, but there's also posts in there that aren't so connected to like very like fashion and like professional photo shoots and stuff. So maybe you want to add a bit more of that content. Yeah, like occasionally you have some really cool like photo shoot content. So maybe try to add a bit more of that then.
I guess it's just like empowering what you said at the start as well. Like your goal with this is actually really nice. Like just to remind people that they can still have fun, and age is just like, I think you should really hone in on that and let people know that people love positivity. Like we're in such a world of so much negativity always pushed in our face. If you were to own that and to really empower that as your brand, I think that would really hit your target of people. So.
I really like that. I think that's really cool, and you can utilise, because obviously, you know, it's about you predominantly here, but there could be other ways that you do that, because you're so super smiley, you know, photogenic, looking great here. You could do other things that spread positivity as well. Find other angles.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I just like little things like the covers on some of those reels. I'd probably put a photo where it's just a much stronger photo, a much bigger image that just really works, but take it at the same place. You know, like that one where they were a bit blurry, that one with the red's a little bit blurry. Like I'd take a better photo when you were making that piece of content. So it's a really nice photo that leads into that piece of content. It makes sense. The other things are just little brand palette things. Like I like the yellow and like the thumbnails. The profile picture is really good. I like the yellow. I like the.
There's too many of these again.
Oh yeah, it's like this. Yeah. Just honestly, like you can only see 4.5 on your phone, so I tried to get mine down to 4.5. So 5, but you know the 4 are the most important ones.
It's really cool. Nice. Thanks you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nasli. Thanks for sharing. All right. So what have I got here? Astraa. Am I saying that right?
It's Astraa.
Astraa. Excuse me. I can't say the word authenticity or any other word. So,
just to give a background, I am a full-time engineer. I started this project it's not even a year. I started in last August. Just for my love to music, I go to raves and I have deep love for melodic techno, bounce, hard house. And in one of the events out there, I just decided, okay, I want to see how it feels to play music, to produce music. And I started in August last year to play at my friend's birthday. That's how I think that was the first time I actually touched a controller. And I also started my producing journey side by side, and I released 2 tracks this year. The Astraa has a meaning. It's coming from 2 words. Astra is like space, universe, and Laya is rhythm in Sanskrit. And I love both like astronomy and music, so I just combined it to bring it up.
That's really cool. That's awesome.
Love that story.
You're quite early in on the journey as well here, isn't it? It's quite.
I don't have like a strong goal yet. I'm let's say exploring a little bit. Also my sound, but yeah, the main goal of Instagram is to engage more with people. I also have like a small community where we do like open air events every now and then. So it's more for engaging with people, finding right people, and eventually then get gigs or something like this.
Cool. Go first.
There's a couple of things. Like I instantly want to click on that top right with the speaker. You don't need that logo in there, but I instantly want to click on it and see if it doesn't play. Oh,
just a photo.
It's very cool. I was hoping it was a video. Like it was like, I wonder what that's going to be like. I hope it's going to be like some. You think he said techno, so it's like you think it's going to be techno from that video. From that picture, but it's not.
There is a background track playing from Mika Hegeman.
Ah, nice.
Oh, is there? I didn't see the. No, I'm not getting any audio.
It doesn't play on desktop.
Yeah. That's weird. Desktop, yeah. Maybe.
That's a desktop thing. Well, what I would say is like there's a nice thing, like I like a kind of start post on the, like on your pin post where you kind of you make a carousel and you tell that story in the start. Like this is where I always think like on the top it's just like start here sort of thing, and that tells your story and it kind of brings people into your world by just making a really nice carousel of like, these are the things that I'm about and this is my story. And then people go to your page and see start here and they click on it and then they're reading your story. And it's just a really way to tell that story. It's a nice story. So I'd want to read it again, you know.
For me, straight away, I think you need to, I want to see this looking like astronomy. If you're saying that's a passion, just because you use that in your opening sentence. And I just think that would be a really cool brand. If everything looked a bit like that and felt a bit spacey and astronomy, I think that could be really cool, brand-wise. Yeah, I think so. I think that's really cool branding opportunities and just to have that sort of look.
I instantly thought of what like Jeff Mills is doing on Facebook at the moment. Where he's just saying like, this is techno, and he's just posting these really cool like sci-fi related images on his Facebook, and it says nothing else, and he's just doing that every week at the moment. I think there's with that name, your artist name, there's some really cool like branding, like creative opportunities you could get in there. Like really cool.
Yeah, also you could use some like B-rolly stuff where you'll find some really nice spacey B-roll, and then you find a real nice track that goes with it, and you're kind of influencing by saying, this is music I like, and this is it kind of fits together nice, like it kind of pans across a space theme, and
it lends itself to a lot of conceptual design.
Do you have like a collection of visuals, videos? Do you have like a setup at home, like telescope and stuff?
Yes, I have, and also the album art in the second post is also done by me. I also paint.
Okay, cool.
I also paint. I like to draw on iPads on something like this.
Oh wow,
you've got so much here.
Maybe you can bring this make content. How you create content?
I'd use, if you can draw like that, it's like that's so much of your content. Like I draw little stories. I literally would like write stories about tracks and just that's sick, man. Like
that's a visual brand right there.
Yeah, that really is. Right, like if you can do that, make multiple carousels of just like really nice drawing stuff that just follows a nice story through and has a piece of music attached to it. Like you've got that skill, man. That's.
In this carousel, I would actually move the second slide to the first, like switch them around. Because like it's such a cool artwork, and the first slide kind of makes it unclean, you know, with the.
Oh, look at that!
So this would be the first slide, and then this the second, or even the third one. This one.
Yeah, especially when you're looking at it from here, it'd be much more grab.
I'd probably even rerun that piece of content with like and ditch the first slide and just just work from the second one and rerun it and see what the difference is, but. Yeah, that's lush, isn't it? That looks really cool.
Does it say on the post that you designed that?
In the description.
No.
On the SoundCloud, I have posted it. That artwork is by me.
Yeah, you should make that clear.
I think you can do some really like strong introduction posts of who you are, because you've got a lot of things that you're interested in that is in your artist name. So I think getting some really strong introduction posts of like saying, this is who I am, this is what I'm into, and just being quite direct and quick with that and showing astrology, showing your art, that would make me stay longer.
Yeah, you could do like some like cool mixes as well. I don't know, like techno mixes, and I don't know, like cosmic sessions, I don't know, I'm just pulling that out of thin air, but there's loads of like cool conceptual things you can do around that persona, I think.
And that's what I was saying earlier about making one piece of content that if you spend a bit more time and make one really good every week that's just got more time and it's more visually drawn, and maybe it takes you 3 or 4 days to make it, but it's just really cool. The other thing I was thinking is like Cole, she used to be quite visual and quite and more kind of not in his post, but he's just really conceptual with his art, and that's obviously in that melodic techno space.
So I want to add that, so there are so many DJs out there, and 99% of these DJs, they're all the same. They're nothing special. But there's this 1% of artists where you look at the profile and straight away you feel like, man, this what is an interesting artist. This one is different. And these artists, they all have like very strong, unique selling points. And I feel like for you, with the astrology, with your drawing yourself, this could be, if you manage to translate this into good content, you would be one of these artists where you look at the artist and you feel like straight away, like, man, this artist is different. Okay, so he's drawing, he's doing this, he's doing that, and he's sticking in my head.
I've got a feeling, you know, Namino, who's signed to Ninja Tune at the moment. He's got the really big records on the radio. I'm pretty sure he designed all of his own artwork before he started working with a big label, and they're all hand-drawn illustrations as well. So there's something you can do, lean into that. I think Gene on Earth as well. He's an artist who's really talented illustrator and designer, and his entire sort of brand around him as his artist proposition is, I think it's all hand-drawn by himself. And when you go to his profile and you look at it, it's just instantly, it's just like, it makes such a splash. Before you've even listened to the music, you're just like, wow, that's like, yeah, I need to kind of learn more about this. So play on that more.
Yeah, I'd honestly I'd go home and just stop posting for a minute and really just research what really good, like these artists, and what can I do, and then start thinking of like a whole identity for yourself where you're like, right, I can post this, I can draw this, I can do this, I can do this, and then essentially batch make some content so that you get a bit ahead of yourself if it does take time, but really make a little, like a kind of vision board of a mood board of your ideas and content, and spend a bit of time making that, because if you can draw like that, man, it can be really good content.
Yeah, I guess just being confident in what you do and like sharing that with people. You want like you've posted that drawing and no one even knows that you've done that, and that's something you should be really proud of, and you should be shouting about it. Like, never be embarrassed to big yourself up online. Like, that's what I would say.
Yeah, if you think like even the Daft Punk, like the Daft Punk videos where they're kind of putting those nice cartoony videos when it's they've taken that time to make that real content. Like always think like when you're an artist, it's the vision of your idea and your how you look and your music and everything. Like you think about the biggest artists in the world, the Madonnas, the Biceps. Everything is visual and music and all of art together, and you can do that with what you're drawing.
Totally, you've got a great USP. So. I think it's super cool. You're a skateboarder as well, just out of interest.
No, that's the place where I do these open air events. It's in front of skate park, so a lot of skaters also enjoy the music while we play. So yeah.
Okay, really cool. I just didn't know. I just thought I'd ask in case it was related and stuff. Awesome, man. Thanks for sharing. I think I really like this. I hope you've got some good feedback there. You know, it's early start of the journey, but really share yourself and who you are. Introduce yourself because.
Thank you for the feedback. I think it was helpful because it's just starting, and I think it would help me to actually start thinking more about this with my music. Thank you.
Thank you, man. Thank you so much. Okay, Nikka, right here at the front. Okay, cool. I know we spoke briefly, but just to kind of give an introduction to yourself.
Hi, I'm Nikka Lorak. I am a DJ and a producer. I'm producing melodic techno, I'm passionate about drum and bass. I'm passionate about peak time techno. But however, I'm trying to build career rather than getting a job, if it makes sense. So that is why I'm trying to focus on melodic techno. And please, I will be more than happy to hear your opinion about it. Shall I portray all the range of the sound I like, or should I focus on one?
Maybe some of the artists and like techno brands that you're really into, the people that that world you'd like to be in and associated by.
I'm coming from film directing and producing background. I shifted into fashion photography for some time. So I had been inspired about 6 years ago, I was inspired by Black Coffee. And one of the reasons, not only because he's hugely successful, obviously, he's coming from unfortunate background. So he is a big influencer now, not only in music, but also in fashion and in charity. And this is how I see my career. I definitely want to double in as a fashion influencer and for charity cases. So love traveling, love collaborating, love discovering new cultures, bring it into my productions. So that's what I stand for.
And is there anything that you struggle with, that you feel you struggle with in terms of your Instagram in general?
Rapid growth.
You're not doing bad here.
I'm very impatient. I'm extremely impatient because people say, oh, it takes time. I'm like, why does it take time? I can do it faster, better, stronger, now.
Love that. Yeah, love that.
Is there 110,000 followers on there currently?
Yes, sir. So this is my production and directing background. So basically, this account had been stagnant for quite a while because my breakthrough as a film director was in 2012 in Cannes Film Festival. So with a short film, we got an award, so I got the following. Afterwards, it was stagnant. I had another account which was even bigger with travel and so on. It had been closed, unfortunately.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So it sounds like you're in a lot of different creative disciplines.
I really see all the creative environment as one. Let's say, personally, I see music as color, which is very easily transferable. I just, for example, this video is quite. I find it, I was enjoying personally a lot. So just doing some funny, whatever stuff to attract attention. And actually, some managers contact me after exactly this video. Although I understand it is completely silly, it doesn't show performance skills. It just...
Is this your kitchen?
It is the caption, yeah.
Okay. Any thoughts, guys?
I think the post to the right of that, when you're saying, you know, you want to be like melodic techno, fashion, editorial, that feels like quite an organic combination of those two things. I know it's just a photo, but I really like the fun sort of like DJing viral thing of like DJing in the kitchen with the dressing gown. But is that on brand and on tone for the sort of music that you play and what you want to represent within that? If I was being ruthless.
Oh, absolutely. And please be ruthless.
Yeah.
So I will let you judge for yourself if you would like to see my performance as well in the club, because basically I'm quite a highly energetic person, and I'm a big fan of The Prodigy.
That looks instantly, that's the sort of thing that I think displays that. That's a really well-framed, raw moment from the club.
I love the original audio to hear the crowd chanting.
That's cool.
So although I have also the commercial version of it pinned to the profile, where we have created the professional video, which will be on the right corner. Sorry, being a blonde.
It's just going back to this
Yes,
one, day 132, playing. And is this something that you've been doing non-stop? Is this like a theme that you've been doing and recording lots of
No,
these
not at all.
and
I have
posting?
done just one.
So just trying it.
I have done just one.
And
it
that's
was
fine.
a meme.
You want to test things
Yeah.
out and try things, but I agree with Mikey. I'm kind of like, that stands out as something that I'm not sure. You're fun and energetic, but that live one is so much better and linked with that photo as well, I think.
And that might just be my own interpretation of what I deem to be melodic techno. I feel when I hear melodic techno, I think maybe it's a little bit more serious, a little bit more moody, a little bit more kind of like immersive and soulful. But that might just be my own interpretation of melodic techno, you know, which could be totally different to yours. So that might just be me, you know, miscommunicating that. I don't know.
When I have done my Indian tour, so it was the requests, the promoters requested indie dance and melodic techno. So, and that was the whole theme. So, however, by the way crowd received it, it was not in more this kind of luxury environment whatsoever when they're selling the tables for $5,000. So it was the environment of a rave. So I'm a little confused how to package it and how to envision it, if it makes sense. I will be more than grateful for the advice.
I guess it's like what your objectives are. Like how long have you been trying to push this as well?
6 years.
6 years, yeah. Have you got your own brand?
As Nikka Lorak?
Like your own, I don't know, like party? Do you aspire to put on events as well?
No, I do not organize any events, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I guess that if you go to the top, like the top looks slick, right? It looks. Scroll down the second row, the third row. It looks melodic techno. Like I feel melodic techno from that kind of vibe. If the objective is how to ramp it up, then how's the community? Like how's the engagement? How's the like where does the fans live after that? And then if the posts are doing a certain metric, if they're getting to, you know, there's 100,000 followers, right? If it's getting 20, 30,000 views, then how does it get to 100,000 views? Then it's right. How do we pour some ads onto it to ramp that up? How do we include some kind of, you know, automated stuff that improves the engagement further?
I definitely need to work with the Instagram specialist because profile had been stagnant for a very long time, for years. So, and basically I picked it up just because it had already a number of following. So I just used it for the DJ purposes.
About this, so you say you repurposed the same profile?
Absolutely, yeah.
I feel like maybe it's stagnant because you were doing something else before, and most of these followers, they are interested in something else.
And I didn't post for years either.
And they're not interested in, you know, you being a DJ. So when you post about DJ stuff now, no one is interacting with the content because that's not what they're in for. And maybe it might be worthwhile to think about completely starting fresh.
I have another profile. I have another profile with 2,000 followers. I call it the backup profile. So, and I'm just reposting the same content, which is also quite questionable.
You should put all your energy into the new one because like you've hit the nail on the head there, girl. Like, if it's been inactive for years and
so
it was
this should be the backup.
Yes, yeah, because this is for something totally different. What it was for something totally different. So that audience, they're not expecting this new direction from you.
I think your stuff looks super slick, like really professional and really cool. And what you're trying here with this one is trying to do something that can connect differently. And I think it's finding what that is. It's finding what you can do as content that's now going to connect with the community in the world you're going in melodic techno, where you can actually, because this is. You're sharing content that's like looks really slick of who you are, but finding where you can do a post, what the guys have been saying about that conversation that you can do with the community. So like asking questions, engaging, because even that one, you're playing in random places and that's trying about a festival, but what can you do to actually reach out to the community to get conversation going?
Or the other thought is, what was the community of the old page? Is there a way to make content that feeds into into what they liked originally, but then tone it kind of melodic techno? Can you add music? If it was like, for instance, it was like a travel page, can you make travel melodic techno content that then feeds into you, that then kind of, then you're using, because there is an audience there.
An instant idea is live streams in quite idyllic locations. Like Nora and Pure, she's done that great. She's done that really good examples of that. And Juna Deep, when they do their annual compilations, like James Grant and Jodie Wisternoff, they fly off to, like, I'm not saying fly off to Iceland every time you want to do a mix, but if you're already traveling, like film, like a cool set in like a really cool location, get like a drone to do it, because what it sounds like is that the existing audience that was on that channel was following you for your success as a film director. So there is an artistic overlap there, but it's like, how can you combine those two worlds to make content that's appealing for both? But if I was being really honest, I would say as an artist, you need to focus on the 2,000 followers who are already there for you as an artist.
Yeah, you could maybe like collab some content so it kind of pulls some of the people that do want to be there for the artist and kind of move whatever's in that 110 into the 2,000 and kind of find ways to send people to the new page from that bigger page.
Cool. Good stuff. Thank you so much for sharing that, Nikka. That's all we've got time for on this panel, but I just want to say, look, keep going with whatever you're doing, guys. I know we dive in and we're going, you could do this, you could do that, but you're all in there, you're all making some really cool content and really going for it. So really respect that. So round of applause to you all and to our panel. Thank you, guys.